Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something powerful today. If you want to live the life you dream of, you have to focus on your dreams and shift your energy toward them. Every single one of us has been given a dream, a vision planted deep inside our hearts. That dream is not random, it's your calling. But the truth is, most people don't chase it because they spend their whole life giving their energy to things that don't serve them. They spend their time worrying, doubting, complaining, and comparing instead of believing, working, and growing. You can't expect to see your dream come true if your energy is divided between fear and faith. You must pick one, and I suggest you pick faith. You see, energy is everything. What you give energy to grows. If you give your energy to excuses, I'm not talking about reasons to fail. But if you give your energy to your dream, you'll grow more opportunities to win. When I started out, I didn't have money. I didn't have fame. I didn't have a plan. But I had energy. I had the kind of energy that said, I'm not talking until I get there. You've got to shift your focus from what's missing in your life to what's possible in your life. Because the truth is, God can't bless what you don't move toward. He can't guide you if you're standing still. So start moving, even if you're scared, even if you're tired, even if you're unsure. Keep moving toward your dream and watch how everything begins to shift in your favor. Stop giving energy to negativity. Stop talking yourself out of your own potential. Some of you are blocking your blessings by staying stuck in the wrong energy. You wake up complaining. You hang around people who drain you. You replay your failures over and over. And then you wonder why your dream isn't growing. Shift your energy. Surround yourself with believers, with people who inspire you. Spend your time building yourself, not doubting yourself. When your energy changes, your environment will follow. When I say focus your energy on your dream, not your fears, I mean you have to make a conscious decision every single day to choose faith over doubt, courage over hesitation, and vision over distraction. Fear is powerful, but it's not stronger than faith unless you feed it. The problem is that most people give their energy to the very thing they're trying to escape. They focus on what could go wrong instead of what could go right. They spend more time replaying their failures than planning their comebacks. You can't build a dream while living in fear. Fear will freeze your potential, and it will make you believe that you are not capable when, in fact, you already have everything you need inside of you. The moment you start to focus on your dream, your thoughts begin to change. Once your thoughts change, your life follows. When you wake up in the morning, your mind starts talking to you immediately. It says, you're not good enough, or you failed before, so you'll fail again. But that's when you have to take control. You have to replace thoughts with words that feed your dream. I can, I will, I must. You have to speak life over your vision even when no one else sees it. That's how you build power, by directing your energy toward what you want instead of what you fear. Your mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant will grow. If you plant fear, you'll harvest failure. You'll harvest success. It's not magic, it's mindset. What you focus on expands. So if your focus is constantly on fear, then fear becomes your reality. But if you focus on your dream, on the possibility of winning, your energy will begin to align with that. And that's when opportunities start showing up. You can't let fear live rent free in your mind. Every time you give in to fear, you pay a price, the price of progress. You lose time, confidence, and passion. I've met so many people who were one step away from success, but turned back because fear told them it wasn't possible. They had the talent, the vision, and the opportunity, but they didn't have the courage to keep going. Your dream deserves your full energy, not your leftover energy after fear has drained you. Fear doesn't disappear, but it can be defeated through action. When you move forward, even when you're scared, you take power away from fear and give it to your dream. Every little step you take towards your dream builds momentum, and momentum is stronger than fear. The truth is, your dream and your fear are both asking for your attention, but only one can have it. You have to decide which one you're going to feed. If you keep feeding fear, you'll stay stuck where you are. But if you feed your dream with effort, consistency, and belief, it will grow until it becomes unstoppable. You've got to remind yourself that fear is just a feeling. It's not a fact. It's your mind trying to protect you from the unknown. But growth lives in the unknown. Everything you've ever wanted, every success, every breakthrough, every blessing is waiting for you on the other side of fear. When I was trying to make it in comedy, I faced rejection after rejection. I was broke, sleeping in my car, wondering if I should give up. Fear whispered to me every day, "You're wasting your time." But my dream spoke louder. I chose to focus on what could happen if I just kept going. I used my fear as fuel instead of letting it defeat me. That's what you have to do. Don't let fear stop you. Let it sharpen you. Let it remind you that you're doing something big enough to be scared of. You're supposed to feel fear, but you're also supposed to move anyway. So keep your energy locked in on your dream. Stop feeding fear with your attention. Replace worry with work, replace doubt with determination, and replace hesitation with action. Every second you spend focusing on your fear is a second you take away from your dream. Your energy is too valuable to waste on fear. Focus it on your purpose, because where your focus goes, your future grows. Energy grows where attention goes. Choose positivity. This is not just a saying, it's a law of life. Whatever you give your attention to will multiply. If you keep feeding negativity, fear, doubt, and insecurity, they will grow stronger and take control of your life. But if you direct your attention toward hope, faith, gratitude, and progress, those things will flourish instead. Life is like a mirror. It reflects back the energy you put into it. If you walk through life expecting disappointment, you'll find it everywhere. But if you walk with expectation, believing something good can happen for you, you'll start to see doors open that were once invisible. The energy you bring into each day shapes the kind of day you'll have, and the energy you carry through life shapes the kind of life you'll live. You can't attract blessings while radiating bitterness. You can't find opportunity while walking around complaining about how hard life is. That negative energy pushes away everything you say you want. Positivity isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about believing that even in imperfection, something good can still come out of it. Every successful person I've met, including myself, had to learn how to shift their attention from the storm to the sunshine. When you learn how to focus on what's right instead of what's wrong, your energy begins to rise. And when your energy rises, your results change. I remember when I was broke and struggling, wondering if I'd ever make it. It wasn't just money I was missing. It was energy. I had to stop talking about what I didn't have and start focusing on what I could create. I began to visualize the life I wanted, not the life I was living. I started to thank God for opportunities that hadn't even shown up yet. And I'll tell you something, that shift in energy changed everything. The moment I started to focus on possibility instead of lack, I began to attract people, ideas, and moments that helped me move forward. That's the power of attention. You don't get what you want, you get what you focus on. Every time you choose to focus on negativity, you're watering weeds instead of flowers. And you can't expect to have a garden full of growth if all you've been doing is feeding the weeds. Some people spend all their time focusing on who hurt them, who doubted them, who left them, and then wonder why they feel stuck. You've got to stop giving attention to things that drain your spirit. Protect your peace. Direct your focus toward the things that build you up, not break you down. The truth is, positivity takes discipline. It's not always easy to stay positive when life throws challenges your way. But that's exactly when it matters most. Anyone can smile when everything's going right. True power comes when you can stay positive while everything's falling apart. That kind of energy moves mountains. When you shift your focus from your problems to your purpose, you start to feel a strength inside you that fear can't touch. That's what choosing positivity does. It gives you control over your own energy. No matter what's happening around you, people will try to drag you into negativity. The world is full of noise, full of complaints, full of people who love to talk about what's wrong instead of what's possible. Don't join them. Keep your energy focused on what you're building, not what you're breaking. Every time you speak life in your dream, you give it more power. Every time you complain, you take that power away. You are the gatekeeper of your energy. You decide what enters your mind and what stays there. So when you wake up in the morning, choose to start your day with gratitude. Thank God for what you have, even if it's small. Thank Him for what's coming, even if you can't see it yet. Gratitude creates positive energy, and that energy attracts more to be grateful for. Focus on the good even when the good is hard to find. Because whatever you feed will grow. And if you keep feeding positivity, soon your whole life will reflect it. Remember, energy grows where attention goes. So put your attention on growth, on purpose, on possibility. That's where your power is. Stop feeding excuses and start feeding effort. That's the real difference between people who dream and people who achieve. Excuses are the silent killers of progress. They sound reasonable, they sound harmless, but they rob you of your time, your energy, and your potential. Every time you make an excuse, you tell yourself a story that keeps you from growing. You tell yourself you're too tired, too busy, too late, or not good enough. But the truth is, those are just words. Words that protect your comfort zone, but destroy your dream. Effort, on the other hand, is what transforms potential into success. You don't have to be the smartest, the strongest, or the most talented person in the room. But if you're the one willing to work, to push, and to keep showing up, you go further than anyone who hides behind excuses. We all face moments where it's easier to talk ourselves out of trying. Life gets tough, the road gets long, and results don't always show up when we expect them to. That's when the excuses start creeping in. I'll start tomorrow. It's not the right time. I don't have what it takes. But let me tell you something. Tomorrow turns into next week turns into next year, and next year turns into regret. The only way to change your life is to start today, to give effort even when you don't feel like it. Every step you take, no matter how small, moves you closer to your dream. Effort doesn't ask for perfection, it only asks for consistency. When I was chasing my dream, I didn't have all the answers. There were nights I felt lost and days I wanted to quit. But I realized something important: excuses don't produce results, effort does. I couldn't keep blaming my situation, my past, or my circumstances. The moment I took full responsibility for my life, everything started to shift. I worked harder, prayed harder, and believed harder. I showed up even when I didn't see progress, because I knew progress was being built behind the scenes. That's what effort does. It plants invisible seeds that eventually grow into visible blessings. You don't see it right away, but one day you'll look back and realize every ounce of effort you gave was worth it. Excuses make you feel safe, but they also keep you stuck. They create the illusion that you're protecting yourself from failure, when in reality, you're preventing yourself from success. People love to say they're waiting for right time, but there is no perfect time to chase your dream. The only time you have is now. Every moment you waste on excuses is a moment you could have used to learn, grow, or build. The truth is, effort always pays off, not always immediately, but always eventually. It shapes your character, sharpens your discipline, and earns you opportunities that excuses never will. Sometimes effort means working when you're tired, studying when you're distracted, or believing when you have no proof. That's what separates achievers from dreamers. Excuses keep you talking about what could happen. Effort makes it happen. You can't expect success to meet you halfway if you're not willing to walk your half of the distance. Every successful person you admire has a story of effort, long nights, hard sacrifices, and relentless dedication. They didn't make excuses, they made progress. So ask yourself, are you feeding your excuses or feeding your effort? Because whichever one you feed will grow stronger. If you keep giving attention to excuses, they'll multiply until they run your life. But if you give energy to effort, your dreams will start to come alive. Life rewards those who move, not those who wait for everything to be easy. So push yourself a little harder today. Don't wait for motivation. Create it through action. Don't wait for permission, give it to yourself. Stop feeding excuses. Start feeding effort. Because the dream you want will only come alive through the work you're willing to give. Surround yourself with people who uplift your vision. The people you spend time with are shaping your mindset more than you realize. If you hang around negativity, you'll start thinking negative. If you hang around small-minded people, you'll start shrinking your dreams to fit their comfort zone. But if you surround yourself with believers, dreamers, and go-getters, you'll start to rise to their level. Energy is contagious. You absorb the energy of those around you. That's why you have to be careful who you let speak into your life. Some people will inspire you to grow, while others will drain you until you forget who you are. Your circle should water your dreams, not drown them. When I was starting out, I had people around me who didn't believe in my vision. They couldn't see the future I saw for myself. Every time I talked about my dream, they'd laugh out or tell me to be realistic. I realized quickly that I couldn't afford to keep that kind of energy around me. I had to make a choice, stay comfortable with them or step into my calling. I chose my calling. I surrounded myself with people who saw potential in me, even when I didn't see it in myself. People who encouraged me, who prayed for me, who believed with me. And that made all the difference. You've got to distance yourself from people who keep you stuck in the same place. Love them, but don't let them stop you from growing. The truth is, your environment can either feed your faith or feed your fear. If you're constantly around people who complain, gossip, or doubt themselves, that energy will eventually rub off on you. You'll start talking like them, thinking like them, and settling like them. But if you're surrounded by people who dream big, who talk about ideas, goals, and possibilities, you'll start believing that anything is possible. Your vision becomes stronger when you're connected to the right people. That's why it's important to build a circle that matches your direction, not your history. You can't move forward if you keep surrounding yourself with people who only remind you of your past. Sometimes you've got to let go of friendships that don't align with where you're going. It's not about arrogance or thinking you're better. It's about protecting your purpose. You can't fly if you're always carrying people who refuse to leave the ground. It might hurt at first, but as you grow, you'll realize that distance brings peace and clarity. You'll have more energy to focus on what truly matters. The right people won't compete with your dream. They'll help you build it. They'll clap when you win, encourage you when you fail, and remind you why you started when you feel lost. Success is never a solo journey. Even the strongest people need support. I'm not hiding. Every dream achieved is a group of people who believed, supported, and push that dream forward. That's why it's so important to find your tribe, the ones who challenge you to be better, who hold you accountable, and who remind you that you're capable of more. You don't need a crowd, you just need the right few. Because one voice of encouragement can drown out 1,000 voices of doubt. Be intentional about the energy you allow around you. If someone constantly brings negativity into your space, it's okay to step away. You owe it to your dream to protect your peace. Surround yourself with people who talk about progress, not problems. People who inspire you to reach higher, not settle lower. Every great achievement starts with belief, and belief grows stronger when it's shared with people who see your potential. So pay attention to your circle. Ask yourself, do these people lift me or limit me? Do they add value to my vision or do they distract me from it? Because the truth is, you can't soar to new heights if you're tied to people who are afraid to leave the ground. Choose wisely. Surround yourself with people who make you believe your dream is possible. Because when the right energy surrounds you, your vision becomes unstoppable. Your mindset creates your momentum shifted. The way you think determines the way you move, and the way you move determines how far you go. Everything begins in the mind. Before success ever shows up in your life, it starts in your thoughts. If your mind is filled with doubt, fear, and negativity, it doesn't matter how much talent you have, you'll never go as far as you could. But if your mind is filled with faith, purpose, and determination, there's nothing that can stop you. Momentum comes from the inside first. It's the energy that pushes you forward when things get hard, and that energy is created by the thoughts you choose to believe. The mind is the battlefield where success is won or lost. If you constantly tell yourself that you can't do something, your mind will find reasons to prove you right. But if you tell yourself you can, your mind will find ways to make it happen. That's how powerful your mindset is. It shapes your attitude, your actions, and your outcomes. You can't have a winning life with a losing mindset. So, if you want your life to move forward, start by shifting the way you think. Stop seeing problems as roadblocks and start seeing them as lessons. Stop focusing on what you lack and start focusing on what you can do with what you have. That shift alone can change everything. Momentum doesn't come from waiting for the perfect moment. It comes from creating movement. But to create movement, you need a mindset that believes effort matters. You have to train your thoughts to see opportunity where others see obstacles. Every time you choose to stay positive, every time you choose to act instead of complain, you're building momentum. And once momentum starts rolling, it's hard to stop. That's why successful people protect their mindset like it's gold, because it is. They know that everything starts with belief. I remember a time when I didn't have much going for me. I was broke, tired, and doubting everything. But then I realized something. The only thing that was truly holding me back was my mindset. I had been focusing too much on what wasn't working instead of what could work. When I shifted my thinking from I can't to I will, from I'm losing to I'm learning, my entire life began to change. My actions got bolder. My energy got started to open. That's what happens when your mindset changes. Your world expands. People often wait for motivation before they act, but it doesn't work like that. Action comes first, motivation follows. You build momentum through doing, not through thinking about doing. Every small step you take feeds your confidence. Every win, no matter how small, strengthens your belief. Before you know it, you're moving faster, believing deeper, and seeing results that once felt impossible. That's how mindset turns into momentum. It starts small and grows with every positive decision you make. But the wrong mindset can stop all progress. If you let fear, doubt, or negativity sit in your mind too long, they'll start controlling your decisions. You'll talk yourself out of opportunities. You'll settle for less. You'll convince yourself that your dream is too big. That's why you have to guard your mind like your future depends on it, because it does. Replace negative thoughts with positive ones. Replace fear with faith. Replace complaints with gratitude. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you respond, and your response determines your momentum. So, if you want your life to start moving forward, you've got to start with your mindset. You have to decide that no matter what comes your way, you're going to keep pushing, keep believing, and keep moving. The right mindset doesn't ignore the struggle. It uses it. It turns pain into purpose and failure into fuel. Once your thinking changes, your direction changes, and once your direction changes, nothing can stop your momentum. Your mind is your engine. Fill it with the right thoughts, and it will take you exactly where your dream wants you to go. When you change your energy, your life starts to change. I'm not talking about your response to the energy you put out into the world. If your energy is negative, heavy, and full of doubt, your life will reflect that. But when your energy becomes focused, hopeful, and full of purpose, you start to attract things that match that vibration. Your energy is your magnet. It draws in opportunities, people, and experiences that align with what's going on inside you. That's why you can't wait for your life to change before you shift your energy. You have to change your energy first. The world around you begins to transform when your mindset, attitude, and spirit rise to a higher level. Most people don't realize how much power they have over their own energy. They wake up tired, complain about the day before it starts, and expect things to go wrong, and then they do. It's not magic, it's mindset. Whatever you expect, you invite. Whatever you focus on, you feel. That's why you must be intentional about the energy you carry. Wake up every morning and decide to choose gratitude over complaint, peace over frustration, and purpose over distraction. Because when your energy changes, the way you see life changes too. You stop reacting to everything and start responding with strength and clarity. You stop chasing things that drain you and start attracting things that fill you. There was a time when my life wasn't where I wanted it to be. I kept asking why things weren't working out for me. Then one day, I realized it wasn't the world holding me back. It was my own energy. I was frustrated, impatient, and doubtful. I was saying I wanted success, but my energy was saying I didn't believe it. That's when I made the decision to shift my energy. I started focusing on what I could control. My effort, my attitude, my faith. I stopped complaining and started giving thanks. I stopped waiting for opportunities and started preparing for them. And when I did that, everything began to move. The right people showed up, the right doors opened, and the right timing unfolded. That's the power of energy alignment. When your actions and your emotions start working together, life begins to respond. Your energy is also affected by the company you keep. If you're always surrounded by negativity, it's hard to stay positive. That's why you have to protect your energy like it's your most valuable asset. Because it is. Don't let toxic people drain you. Don't let fear dictate your energy. Be around people who make you feel alive, who speak hope into you, who remind you that your dream is possible. The more you protect your energy, the more power you'll have to move toward what matters most. Sometimes, shifting your energy means walking away from what's familiar. It might mean letting go of old habits, old environments, or even old versions of yourself. Growth requires energy, and sometimes you can't rise while holding on to what's weighing you down. It's not easy, but it's necessary. When you choose peace, confidence, and purpose over chaos, insecurity, and fear, you begin to see your world in a new light. You begin to attract things that match your higher self. That's how life starts to evolve. It follows your energy. You can't build a powerful life with weak energy. You can't expect blessings to fill into a space that's filled with doubt. So start aligning your energy with your intentions. Move with confidence. Speak with conviction. Every time with strength, you think, speak, or act, you're sending out energy. Make sure it matches what you want to receive. When you believe you're worthy, life starts treating you like you are. When you act like you're capable, doors start opening that were once closed. When your energy rises, your reality rises with it. So take control of your energy. Don't let your circumstances dictate your spirit. Let your spirit dictate your circumstances. Choose joy, choose belief, choose purpose. Because the moment you change your energy, your life starts to shift in ways you never imagined. The world doesn't change first, you do. And when you do, everything else follows.